Sorry to cut you short of that. I want to ask you to humor me for a second. And sorry you didn't have a little more time to do your discussion today, but I wanted to do a video here because everybody needs, just like the next one, everybody needs to see you. All right, so are you ready? When I turn the camera over to you guys, be ready to give a good shout out, all right? Put your hands up like you just don't care. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Hey everybody, Dan Anderson here. Yeah, so we got a panel discussion. Niki with knockdown, stellar job on the Emcee. We got Nathan and Danelle. We're going to do a panel discussion here in just a second, but take a look at this. Everybody, isn't this incredible? About 250 people in the room at the TPC course today. Hey, what you're looking at right here is a force to be reckoned with. These people are being unleashed in the marketplace to live out their faith, to represent God, to do successful businesses, to transform lives and communities. The only thing's mission is you. So you better join us next time. Lord bless. Have a great day.
Wait, you guys have to do that one more time.
Hashtag social.
It's a photo. So just stand up as big as you can. It's the greatest of all selfies.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Leave on the noise. That's great.
All right, I think I'm running this panel here. What could go wrong? Again, don't worry, I finished my coffee, so we're in good hands now. Okay, so we have some questions that you guys have sent in. If you send them in at this point, we might not get them just because we're running a little bit short on time, but I know that some of these folks are sticking around, so feel free to ask them afterwards. Really quick, we don't know Nate yet. Nate is the founder and executive director at Heartwork Missions. Nate, will you give us like a 30-second snapshot of who you are, what you're passionate about with your work?
Yeah, so good to be here. Thanks, Dan. And I also am a Loveland High grad and grew up in this community, so it's so fun to be here. And some of you know some not good stories about me, so it's interesting to
all the dirt is coming out this morning. Like I'm hearing about dirt, but I'm not actually getting dirt. So if you have dirt.
This is a confessional.
Confessional, yeah.
Love some tea?
Yeah, had the joy of being a part of ministry settings and business settings alike, and grew up in the church wanting to be similar to stories, youth ministry and all kinds of things, and have done that, and also been privileged to be a part of a lot of entrepreneurial business efforts. So one of the things that I've got to do is lead 10,000 students and leaders on trips all over the states and around the world doing missions work, which is one of the things that I love culture and travel. And I've also been a part of some business spaces in the Amazon world, specifically e-commerce and marketplace stuff in that thing in the last 10 years. So I'm one of those people that likes to do a lot of things and be in different spaces. So
I think we will.
Maybe Afro circuits.
Well, hey, can we welcome Nate to the stage? Okay, so first question, panel, and this is just kind of popcorn, so grab it as it comes to you. How do you reconcile the pursuit of wealth with your faith, and where's the balance of praying for God's help and trusting in the capacities He's already given you? Just starting with a deep one. Boom.
Yeah. I'll start.
How many of you guys battle with that? Anyone? Like wealth and faith? Anyone? Raise your hand if you do. We just want to see you. Okay. I think one thing that is important on this journey, like I said, business or money will grow you or expose you. But I think it's a great metric for us to keep our true hearts and our values in mind. If you know your mission, vision, and values, you're probably creating a movement for yourself. Right? You're creating a movement for what's in your heart, a movement for your company, what you stand for, how you want to be known, and that attaches to our faith, right? We each have our individual, different relationship with God in whatever capacity we want, and I think He puts that movement inside of us. So for me, it stopped being about judgment of others and finances and money and how much would I make. The first time they introduced me as a millionaire maker, I was like, what? Is that true? Like it felt weird, like it felt awkward. I was like, don't. my mom will die. Like, please don't say those things. And then I was like, oh, that is what I've done. This person and this person and this person. And then it was the impact they made. And for me, my values are to help build wealthy human beings who give back. I teach every human that they will give 10% of what I help them earn to the charity of their choice. I teach them. So like your values, what you want to do, what you believe in, and it's very faith-centered, right? We're here. Put on the full armor of God, right? The helmet of salvation, the belt of truth, right? If you're living these principles of the Bible, your movement will be lived out, and you don't get to choose how much finances. That's God's department. But the more I do to stay in line with my values and give back, the more it keeps coming. And so I think that's when you know you're in line, not fighting for the number, but fighting for the impact and the movement you're creating. So I just think people need to have a great mission, vision, values, be tied to their own faith, and they work those results. And I stopped letting anyone else's opinion. I did say that. I want to say one last thing. I know we beat up the church a little bit today just from bad experiences. The church is one of the greatest places in the world. It's what built me. Yeah. So many young humans who I got to work with. And I talk about the church like the same people at church are the same people in business. They're the same people down the street. They're the same people that we deal with. And they're just full of imperfect people who are trying to do better. And it all helped me. So I didn't want to leave that with like a bad tone. They're living their movement, and that's what they're supposed to do. And there's good and bad. It's our job to be unoffended by what anybody does to us and become so addicted to our impact that like, it's not what they do to us, it's what we do back that really shows who you are and where you're going and what happens in life. So I think that's in line with the finances.
Yeah, I just got to jump on that. Thank you so much for saying that, because sometimes we've had pastors here who said, man, I feel like you've beat up on my bride. So we don't want you to feel that at all, and I really believe business and the church is the key to changing culture, right? So yeah, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, alignment of values. Yeah.
There's a verse in John 17:4. It says this: I glorified you on earth, having accomplished the work that you gave me to do. I think it's a powerful idea. So when I think about this question of wealth, I would reframe this question. Wealth and faith, I would reframe it to a theology of my work and think about it in this way. God gave you work. If that is a gift, then I need to steward the gift that God's given me. And however I need to steward that is up to God's decision on how he multiplies that. I think about the parable of the talents or the parable of the vineyards, right? God is the grace giver. He's the one that has assigned to you whatever he's assigned to you. And you're the only one that gets to carry out that task. If that includes the wealth that he wants to give you, then that's the wealth he wants to give you. And you should be a steward of that wealth, not trying to figure out, how do I balance what? Well, that's a two-tier system. It's kind of a wrong thinking pattern in my brain. But rather, there's a theology of work that says God's the giver. I steward what God's given me. And the way that he blesses that is up to God. And then I get to be a good steward again of what he's given me. It's all God's gift to us.
Yeah, amen.
As a young entrepreneur and a fairly new entrepreneur, I think I wasn't ready for the amount of risk that generosity would require, in the sense of, kind of like you said, everyone you coach, you want them to give 10% back. When I built my online business, I said 10% of everything that comes in is going to go back to a nonprofit. And as a startup, that's terrifying, because you're like, okay, but with this 10%, I can grow my marketing, I can do this, I can do this. And so I'm learning to trust God with that risk, that it's like, hey, you will provide. And this is what you've blessed me with, this to do it. We're stewards of the resources. But it's risky. It's scary to trust him with that, and hopeful to see the return.
Yeah.
I think like winning and generosity go hand in hand, though. Yeah. Right? Like the more people I meet that are winning, they are the most generous souls around. And so I think learning as a startup or learning as anywhere, like, it's not mine. That is set apart for being a steward. And if someone isn't generous, they're not winning. Yeah. Right? Or they lose eventually pretty quickly. Yeah. So I think it's like challenging yourself to be even more generous. So like, even when I say that and I have people do it, I always tell people, I go, but I give 20. And so then they start giving 20 because I gave 20. And then I'm like, maybe I'm going to give 50 this year. Wouldn't that be fun? Just to get people outside of the box of, hey, this is the rule, this is the thing. So maybe even do it per task. Hey, on this next 90-day run, this bottom line that we're going to hit, we're going to give 50% this quarter. And have people go, right? And what's funny is they'll go earn twice as much and they won't notice it.
Yeah.
I'll just say one quick thing. It's like, so being fruitful, multiply, that, we see that, read that in Genesis, that's not just about making babies. It's taking what God's given us and multiplying it for His glory. Taking a chicken and making chicken cordon bleu, or egg and making an omelet or something like that. God designed us to be fruitful and multiply, and then if He brings wealth with that, praise God.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's really good. Okay, here's the next question, and I think we need to maybe find a way to rephrase this, but it has to do with technical skills and knowing when you're ready to make the leap. The question is, how do you make the leap when you know you need to build more technical skills first? So we're talking about mindset. How do you know when you've found that spot where you're like, I have enough skill to maybe launch this or to advertise myself in this area? What experiences have you guys had there? When are you ready?
You're ready right now.
I second it.
Listen, if you don't take a risk, you're never going to do it. So here's a story from my Amazon business. People were like, how did you do it? They're always like, what did you do? I said, I bought this course at midnight as a teacher, making $35,000 a year. And I said, I looked at my wife in bed. I said, I think we're supposed to buy this course to learn how to sell on Amazon. We bought the course. It was $3,500. I was making $35,000 a year. That's my whole 10% right there. Right? It's not a good risk. It takes money to make money. So I bought the course, I did it, and they're like, how did you do it? I followed the course. They're like, what's the secret? I followed the course. You're ready right now. Your only place to be ready is right now. This is just Danelle says it bolder than I do, but this is the same excuse as time. It's the same excuse as whatever other excuse you want to make. But you'll develop as you go, but you'll actually develop faster if you go right now. The reason that most people are not successful is because they never actually do anything. They're doing exactly what you showed us. 3, 2, and I don't have the skill sets. Ooh, I don't know this perfectly. Ooh, I don't. If you go, you'll go faster. If you start right now, you'll get there faster. So you're there right now.
Like, remember, everyone's a 5. I know you're a 10. You're a 5, okay? You're a 5. There are people who are 4s that look up to you. People who are 3s, people who are 2s. There are people that are 6s, 7, 8, 9, 10 for you to look up to. Everyone has a 4, 3, 2, 1 that needs you to start now.
Yeah. I'll say one more thing, Jackie, and then you can jump in there. So I think, when God showed me and my family that He wanted us to come here, we lived in my predecessor's basement for 3 months and didn't know how we were going to make ends meet. What caused us to do that was a sense of calling. If God's calling you to do it, you got to do it. And the other thing that really hit me was like, I'm going to stand before the Lord one day, and if I didn't do this and He asked me, why didn't you do it, what would I say? Like, man, I didn't want to face that day. That was motivating for me.
This is a message for the women in the room because I work with women in professional development. And our thing with women is, I don't know, Danelle, if you ever feel this way, I used to feel like I needed to have everything together before I made that present, before I gave the pitch, before I talked to that person. I needed to have the plan fully thought out. And then you get into business. I hate this expression, but it's really powerful when you start to live into it. We are building the plane as we are flying it. Anybody heard it? Anybody shaking your head when someone says that in a meeting? You're like, oh my God, it's going to be one of those. But you really are in business building the plane as you're flying it, which is ludicrous to the normal 90% of the world out there that's not sitting in here doing what you're doing. But if you can start to live into this risk and the fear and the mind games of the plane is still in the air. It's still where we've dropped. Okay, now we're missing a wing. Well, that wing didn't really work well anyways. We've got half a wing over here. The jet is 50% thrust. Like, that mindset helps you also, I think, start to live into just that reality.
Yeah, I think, I have a billionaire mentor. You guys know Richard Branson. I was invited with 30 other entrepreneurs to go under his mentorship. And what you'll find out, a billionaire will still tell you, well, I don't know how it works. Like we're all the same, and the chances are you're doing too little than too much. Like, the chances are you know plenty. You know way more than most people, or you wouldn't even have paid for yourself to come here or been a part of a group of people who believe in you to pay for you to come to a bonus training. You're meant to be here today. It gets to be you to steward the gift. But the chances are none of us have it figured out. But all of us know enough to do it. Like,
Yeah.
in the back.
Hey.
I agree.
It's the 10%. I had a mentor tell me one time, what's 10%? What's something you do 10% better than anyone else? Now go do that better than anyone else. And that 10% is going to grow. And we forget that we're better, that we're 10% better than anybody else, because a lot of times we're surrounded by people that are better than us. But just that 10% can change the game and your influence.
Okay, here's what I think. You guys want to know what I think is it just makes me think of this.
Just don't cuss.
Then
okay?
I will try not to. Beep. Don't make
I'll
me.
censor.
I'm working really hard. I really don't swear that much. It's just
You
when I have a
don't.
mic in my hand, I just feel a little spicier than a normal day. My kids will tell you that's not true. You say something, you drop the mic. It's cost $1,723. They sent me a bill. I did it on a big stage one time. I was like, I'll pay it again. That was awesome. But I forgot what I was going to say.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, not at all. Wait, what were you just saying?
It'll come back.
So good.
10%.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was like, what did I just say?
I don't remember. It was so good, though. It was genius.
Okay, think it'll come back. It'll come back.
Sovereignty will come back if it's really important.
Oh, man. Okay, I love this. How many of you this year have gone into 2025 and said, I want to create better rhythms and routines in my life and business? Yep. Okay. So here's kind of my question for the panel. Here's our question. What is one rhythm that you do every day because it is so important to your success?
I was sharing this in our table discussion. We were talking about this idea of second thought and how do we move that to action, because in the moment, it's really hard to be like, oh, my first thought was bad. Let's go to my second thought, right? We don't do that naturally. One way that we can train ourselves to do that is by each night doing an examine of our day. So we looked back and we reflect and we ask questions like, where was I aware or not aware of God's presence in my life during today? It starts training me in the evening so that the next day when something similar comes up, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I just reflected on this in my examine. I just thought, I missed this totally yesterday, but today I became just a little bit more aware of like, oh, God is right here. I responded differently. I thought differently. So that's been a tool for me. It was a simple moment, very easy, just an examine, asking a couple of questions like, was I aware of God's presence today? Where was I? Where was I not?
No, I'm refraining.
We'll have a polite off. You first.
Okay. Well, so I mentioned these dictums, and I have 10 of them. I'm adopted. I'm accepted. I go through A through I. I'm a beloved child of God. I'm a citizen of heaven. I'm a dwelling place of God, and I go through that. And then recently, and actually one of the ideas that came from the HeadGames, this theme, is I've been reading this book called, actually Jimmy Page. You guys know Jimmy here, who spoke before. He recommended me a book called Mind Gym. And I've been reading it, and it's just really, so I've been including in my prayer and Bible time, which I just need. I just have to have it, because I'm not the same person without it. And I'm actually visualizing in my mind what it's like to live out my day with the Lord's help. And it's powerful. It's really, really powerful. And I've been listening to music in the background, headphones, just really low instrument. It's been really kind of a new rhythm I've started. It's been awesome.
I love it. I spoke about it a little bit, but I wrote a book called I Choose Joy. And it was really like there were two paths I could have taken in life. I choose joy, or what I call, I can't say it, but FRO, something right off. And it was like, this was my path, right? Like I'm going for it or I'm not, right? Like I'm going to choose this mad, upset, frustrated life, right? If we have any emotions, they're ours. We own them. Nobody else can make you upset, make you angry, make you do anything. But that was like this path that I was on. And I Choose Joy was these 4 rhythms that I did every single day that made me control my emotions, focus on strategy, and get things done. So gratitude, it's talked about all over. It used to be very uncool. Now it's the cool thing to do. So be a cool kid. 10 things you're grateful for every single day. If there's a human you're having a hard time with, write 10 things for them every single day. Quit letting anyone or anything run your life. If it's you, if you don't love what you look like, write down 10 physical things about yourself that you're grateful for every single day. Like, knock the dumb stuff off in your head. Gratitude. Okay, that's the first one. There's 4 G's. Okay, the second one is growth. Listen or read 30 minutes to 1 hour every single day. That's the only input you get. Don't over-listen and over-learn and all those kinds of things. 30 minutes. Take one takeaway. Write down what you're going to apply that day. That's the growth piece. And go for it. Right? The third thing is your goals. The strategy I sent you, 970-650-6171. I hope you all text that today. Don't forget, because I'm going to tell you. 70% of you will forget. Just saying. 30% of you will do it. 10% of you will actually listen to it. 1% will reach out to me afterwards. Be the one. Anyway, the grid, goals, write it down. Okay, numbers are like the same no matter who you are. Okay, and they're like not exact, but around that number. Okay, writing down my goals every single day. It's how you recognize what's out there to go hit it. It's very, and the last one is grace, the last G. What do you need to let go of every single day so you can be great tomorrow? Some people have real deep things they need to let go of, and it's very silly to let someone or something you're holding on to keep you from being great. I just let it go every single day. Sometimes I forgive myself. Sometimes I forgive the idiot down the street. Sometimes I forgive my dog. What a terrible purchase.
Got a good name though, Moose.
His name is Moose.
That's a good name.
He is like that movie, The Saint Bernard, that from hell. That's Moose. Although he's a Bernese Mountain Dog, he's the same. He was on the kitchen counter this morning when I came downstairs drinking my coffee. I paid thousands to have him trained. It's fine.
Here we are. Here we are.
Grace.
Bless. It is interesting. I want to speak to something you said, Danelle. I found that sometimes my rhythms will shift with seasons. So when I work with young people, they're like, I'm trying to find balance. I'm trying to find balance. How many of you have learned that balance, 1, doesn't exist, but 2, it's prioritizing what's most important in every season? So for me, when it comes to kind of those daily rhythms, what I've been trying to find something that I think will stick for years, regardless of the season change. And what's worked is almost what you're doing. Is every day before I close up my work, I'm taking 15 minutes to reflect on the day, and then I'm taking 15 minutes to plan the next day, so that the first thing I do when I wake up is the most important thing. Because I would wake up too many days, and my days would happen to me instead of me happening to my days. And so I started to realize, well, it's because I'm not strategically planning when I wake up. So whatever's in front of me is what happens. And it wasn't creating success, and it really wasn't creating faithfulness, because I wasn't stewarding the time God had given me. I felt like I was, because I was stewarding whatever energy came at me and I would handle it, but it wasn't moving the most important things forward. So for me, it's been, okay, check the season, what's most important in the season, and what are rhythms, what's one rhythm that will continue moving me forward regardless of the season. I think it's John Maxwell that says, I write something every day. How many books has he published? 5,000? I don't know. But that's his thing. He says, I sit down every day and I write something. And then in my head, I'm like, how many books could I have written if I would just write something every day? A lot. But it's the little things that we do that move us forward. Okay, this is a fun question. And the last one, what does, and I want to leave this up to you guys, winning versus faithfulness. What does winning look like for you in 2025? Or what is an act of faithfulness? Maybe you feel like God's called you to do something. What's one thing for you, faithfulness or winning, in 2025 that you're looking forward to or excited about?
I don't have anything right now.
Okay. Well, I love winning, everything about winning, and I believe winning is faithfulness. I believe if I'm not winning, I am not being faithful to the calling on my life. It is a responsibility for me to cross a finish line. And I think every year I have goals, but every 90 days I have finish lines. So I have a very specific plan in which I work, but it all has to do with making sure my business and my life, like with making sure that my business is built around my life, not my life around my business. I have a senior this year. She's leaving to play volleyball in Rome. Because I'm so excited. Dream big. but don't go. No, I have a senior and I have twins that are sophomores and living their best life. My son's getting recruited. We have his first meeting with Carolina. Play basketball. There's like a lot happening in my life, and I will build champion children and be there for everything while making a difference and giving back. I have specific numbers. I don't know that you need to know those, but if you want to, just shoot me a text. I'd love to chat. And I think that's it. You make a difference and you matter. That's why I wake up. I will finish what I start. It's 2025.
It's good. Finish what I start. 2025. Winning.
Yeah, I think the consistent things that have been true for a long time are doing things today that others won't, so that I can do things tomorrow that others can't. So winning for me is every day doing something, putting another step forward, and doing something today so that I grow, learn, expand, so that I can do things tomorrow that I wouldn't have been able to do if I didn't do something today. So I also have a senior, so winning for me is absolutely family, always. That's why I work with Danelle, because we care about family. We just came back from Thailand, and
he did not get malaria.
I didn't get malaria because I chose not to put my head in the elephant toilet.
I did not put my head in it. It sprayed that stuff in my face.
You were too close.
But it was an epic photo.
You always find a way to get poop in the conversation, I tell you.
I do. It's just such an awkward thing. I figure if we talk about poop, nothing else could be more awkward, so we'll build our businesses.
It's the beautiful thing about traveling the world. There's no such thing as a liability form. So you just walk into a giant, they're like, this is so fun. Come into this big giant pool, mud up all these elephants, and then they're gonna poop in this big giant elephant toilet, and we're gonna swim around in it, and it's gonna be really fun. And then we're gonna sift out the elephant poop with laundry baskets. That's what they were doing, literally.
We paid for this.
And we're like, and we enjoy this.
I mean, I paid for it, for everybody to swim in elephant poop. Yes. And they were like, this is the best vacation of my life. We call it a transformation vacation, right? Our next one's in Rome. We're so excited.
That's good.
Yeah. Why is it in Rome, Danelle? Somebody I know might be playing volleyball there. That's what I mean, man. Build it around your life, right? Build it around your life.
No, Dan doesn't have any goals for 2020 winning in 2025.
I want to get people out of here in time.
Oh, that's a pretty big goal. Hey, you guys, can we thank our panel? Thank you.